Hey everyone, welcome to Divine Conversations. I am Eric. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. If you are brand new to the channel, it's great to meet you. I will be bringing you your weekly messages from Spirit for the Twin Flames for this week, January 29th through February 4th. We're starting with the Divine Masculine here. I'm going to be working with the traditional tarot to get us our base messages, and then I will be pulling from various oracle decks that I have over here that are, whichever one is calling to me, I'll just be pulling messages from. So with that said, let's get started. So, Spirit, thank you for joining us today. Please make me a clear channel for the Twin Flames. Please bring forth the best messages for the Divine Masculine for this week, January 29th through February 4th. What do you have for us today for this week? What do we want to talk about this week? What are we focusing on this week? January 29th through February 4th. January 29th through February 4th. Thank you so much, Spirit, for your guidance. Best messages for the Divine Masculine this January 29th through February 4th. Alright. Last shuffle, and now we're going to cut the deck. Okay. Divine Masculine. Your overall message for this week, the overall energies of the Four of Cups. When I see this, initially I'm thinking many of you are contemplating. The first thing I thought of when I saw this was that you were really thinking things through, thinking it over. Like, this cup is being handed to you, and I'm not really seeing this as the Divine Feminine handing you this cup anymore, or trying to hand you this cup, even, and not to say that she's like moving away from you or anything, but I see this right now as more as Spirit is handing you a brand new cup of fulfillment. And this speaks to what you are dealing with, Divine Masculine, with asserting yourself and cutting out things that no longer serve you anymore, and getting to know who you truly are and standing up for that. And so the universe or Spirit is now handing you this new cup of fulfillment, and that cup is of self-realization. And there's a lot of fulfillment that will come through that. But there is a bit of trepidation here. In this card can tend to speak to an offer that's being refused or not being seen or lamented over. Maybe it was a missed offer that you're kind of upset about. In this situation, I'm seeing a lot of you Divine Masculine are still having trouble with this whole thing of self-realization, because it's causing a lot of upheaval for you. And right under that, we have the Hierophant. So this is definitely confirming that this cup that's being handed to you right now, Divine Masculine, is of a spiritual nature, is of emotional fulfillment through self-realization. And a lot of you are having trouble with it. But okay, so instead of continuing to talk about it that way, I want to move on with the reading, because I feel like a lot more information is going to come out surrounding that. So in your first position, so we're just going to draw it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to put these right here. Normally, when I developed this spread, I was using significators. One for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine, one for the Divine Feminine. But now, since I'm not really doing that anymore, I'm putting the overall message in the center here. That feels right to me. Okay, let's get into the messages, shall we? In your first position, Divine Masculine, this is what your current surrounding energies are for this week. So we have the Five of Wands. Yes, that makes perfect sense. This cup that's being handed to you by the Divine, by Spirit, it's causing an upheaval. It's causing a lot of differing opinions to come about. Now, from a micro point of view, the micro being within you, yourself as the individual Divine Masculine, there are a lot of different things that are being brought up that are all vying for your attention. you're being made aware of all these different parts of yourself that you never really knew of in the past, or that you tended to ignore, not listen to, push aside, whatever. But like, you're in a point now where you can't really push these things aside anymore. You can't really ignore these parts of yourself anymore, and it's causing a lot of trouble for you. It's causing conflict. It's causing a battle to happen. You know, you're fighting yourself for attention. Now, this is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. This is not like a Five of Swords situation. No, this is a Five of Wands situation. So there's a lot of passion here, but it's a lot of differing opinions that are arising within you, and you're having to really like battle yourself for time and attention, which feels and sounds weird, but at the same time, to me, it's making sense. But then on a macro point of view, divine masculine. So from outside of you, this newfound information about yourself, you know, this learning about yourself is also causing people around you to kind of like vie for your attention too. Like, I see now that you're being more accepting of yourself and that you're asserting yourself more for the truth that is within you. There are a lot of other people around you that are catching wind of it, and a lot of the people that are vying for your attention now are those who are trying to keep you in this old self, in this state that you're trying to move out of. So they're trying to like technically like literally pull you back in, almost like a misery loves company kind of situation. And you're having to fight them off. You're having to assert yourself. You're having to stand up for yourself. And also, on a more general level, divine masculine, you know, you could just be dealing with a lot of different things vying for your attention all at once. And it's frustrating and it's draining. But this is mostly on the spiritual level. This is mostly having to do with this new sense of fulfillment that you're getting acclimated with. I also want to point one other thing out. With our overall energies here, you got the Hierophant, which is talking about a few things. But it's talking about a few things, and I'll get into it in a second. But what I really want to point out here is there is a system, or there is certain people that believe that, you know, there are quite a few cards within the tarot deck that can signify the twin flames and the twin flame journey. I'm one of them. I normally used to see the Emperor and the Empress, which I have right here. The Emperor and the Empress signifying the divine masculine, divine feminine. But I did hear a theory in which they do symbolize the divine feminine, divine masculine, but they symbolize them as the Emperor and the Empress in the 3D. What about in the spiritual world? What about not in the mundane, but the spiritual world? And in the spiritual world, the divine feminine would be the High Priestess, and the divine masculine would be the Hierophant. So with that point, I think it's really interesting that this came up as a clarifier for our overall energy here, because in what the Hierophant really symbolizes is spirituality, is form and order and almost conformity sometimes, but you're learning about the more spiritual aspects of yourself. You are embracing more of your spiritual nature as a divine masculine, as a masculine energy, as a masculine counterpart, as a divine being. So the fact that the Hierophant came up, I think, is really, really poignant. So it's pointing not only to you learning about yourself on a spiritual level, but it's also pointing to you accepting your divine masculine nature. Yeah, so that's really great. Yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to say there. So then, yeah, your surrounding energies this week, divine masculine, are conflicting opinions, conflicting many different things vying for your time all at once. So just be aware of that. Just know that this is a little chaotic right now, but everything will level out, and you'll just, prioritize is a big message here. Prioritize. Make sure you understand what is most dire to not dire, but what's most important to you. And at this point, I can confidently say that a lot of you are aware that if you're not already putting yourself as a priority, you need to be putting yourself as a priority. And that is part of why this energy is surrounding you right now. That is part of why the universe is kind of putting this in your face right now, because you need to learn to prioritize your needs over those of someone else's, because you cannot serve somebody else if you have not first served yourself. Right? If you are not prepared to be of service to someone else by nurturing and giving to yourself first, giving yourself those things that you need first, and you can't do it for anybody else. So that is mostly why this energy is surrounding you right now. And I know, I feel it. You guys are frustrated. You guys are drained. You guys are confused. You see all this chaos around you. And as the Emperor, right? Chaos is not something you can not something you appreciate. You can't stand chaos. I get it, but you need it right now. This is such a big lesson for you. Yeah, and just understand you will get through it. Just breathe and prioritize. Yes? Moving on. Your current thoughts and feelings towards your twin. That's in position 2. Strength. Yeah, that's a beautiful message. Okay, so these are your current thoughts and feelings towards your twin. And what I'm feeling here, what I'm picking up, is that you're feeling, you're drawing on your own inner strength to really get you through this period so that you can, come back to your twin. In many cases, a lot of you are seeing your twin, your divine feminine, as your pillar of strength, as your source of strength in many ways. Now, granted, this is not, I don't mean this in a codependent way, but I know for myself as a feminine energy, I have really been using my feminine nature to help guide my twin, to be a lighthouse for him, to be someone that's really setting an example, laying down a path for him to follow so that he can get to what he wants to go, lending him all kinds of energy, anything that he needs, just sending the energy to him and saying, here, just use this as you know you need it, or as you feel you need it, and that's and that's how a lot of you are seeing your twin right now. And a lot of you are drawing on your own source of inner strength from within so that you can move through this situation. And that's really wonderful. Moving forward, in a position 3, we have where you are, Divine Masculine, in relation to your twin this week. And you are at the Tower. The Tower, yes. I just heard again, yes, again. But understand that this is a little different now. And please understand that the Tower energy is never really going to stop, to be honest with you. I know that's not something people want to hear, but we are constantly evolving, constantly changing in existence, not just in physical life, but in spiritual life as well. We are constantly evolving and changing, and there are going to be these moments where the Tower energy is going to come back around because you're going to get new insight. You're going to learn something new. There's going to be a brand new flash of illumination, and then everything's going to change. That's literally how things are, both spiritually and physically. So don't be afraid that you're in the Tower moment again, because this is just another piece of the puzzle coming down. And this is absolutely, I love that this is underneath this 5 of Wands energy here, because this is absolutely speaking to the 5 of Wands energy that you're moving through. Your Tower moment right now is learning what you need to do to care for yourself. It's going through this chaotic moment and being able to find your footing so that you can prioritize your life. You can prioritize the things that are really important to you and put those things first and leave all the riffraff on the back burner or behind altogether. That is what this Tower moment represents for you, Divine Masculine, this week. It's understanding what you need to do to prioritize your life so that you can live your most authentic life. Yes? Excellent. Moving forward, card number 4, we have what you want your twin to know right now. And you want your twin to know that you are the Knight of Wands. You are incredibly passionate. And you're coming in fast. Just be cautious. Yeah, just be careful, because the Knight of Wands, it's really easy to get burned with the Knight of Wands. It's very, very easy to get burned. That's what I'm hearing. So, that's what I'm picking up for this message for you right now, Divine Masculine. So understand that you know that you want your twin, and Divine Feminine, if you're watching this, your twin wants you to know that he is extremely passionate and he is moving very, very quickly. Even though it may not look like it, he's moving very quickly on a spiritual level. He's moving very quickly. He also wants you to know that once he gets his footing on the spiritual realms, once he really, really gets solid in the spiritual realms, that's when things will start to be seen in the physical, right? Okay, awesome. So your fifth position, divine masculine, for this week, your current challenges, what's on your mind, what you're manifesting, what you're thinking about. What you have here is the Knight of Swords. And this is excellent. This is an excellent card to see here, especially when we have all this chaos surrounding you, divine masculine. So you're really stepping up and being diplomatic about everything. You're like, all right, okay. I literally see you stepping away from the situation so that you can get like a more macro view of it, and saying, all right, where do my priorities lie? What do I need to deal with first? And you're literally taking your sword and saying, okay, I'm separating all of you. I'm separating all of you with these 5 wands here. I want you all to stand individually by yourself, and I want you to state your claim. I want you to make your case. State your case for me. What do you want from me? And you hear them out. Honestly, and it's not, and you're not hearing them out with intentions of being malicious or being cutting or mean or anything like that. No, you honestly want to know. You honestly want to hear from them. All right, make your case. And from that point of view, you're saying, okay, I'm going to have to stop you right here, and we're going to have to deal with this later because we have some other situations here that are much more important right now for me. No shade, no love lost. I mean, I'm just being real with you. I'm just being straight up. I can't deal with this right now. I have some other pressing issues that I need to deal with first. So if you could just like hold on to that for a minute, or maybe see what you can do to work that out on your own, that would be great. But I need to spend my attention here right now. That is what the King of Swords is saying for you this week. This is what you're learning to do, divine masculine. And in many cases, some of you already understand that you need to do this. And so part of the Tower energy that you're dealing with is putting that into place, is that flash of illumination, being like, well, damn, I knew I needed to do this all along, didn't I? And at that case, it's not even, I hope if you're in that position, if you are someone that's resonating with that specific message and you're in that position, I hope you do what I just did after saying that to yourself. I hope you laugh, because it's not something to be angry about. It's just like well, shit, I guess this could have been really easier before if I had just done it this way, huh? You know what I mean? Like, so... But understand, divine masculine as a whole, like y'all are really pulling it together this week mentally. Y'all are really like cutting the shit, just like cutting the chaos, learning from the chaos. Understand that the Emperor energy here, that the Emperor energy that you embody as a divine masculine is not about chaos. But what I'm picking up here is many of you are starting to learn that there actually can be a lot of knowledge gained through working through chaotic situations. I'm not saying that you have to like go seek them out, but what you're coming to terms with at this moment is understanding that when things do get chaotic, there tends to be a pretty good lesson within the chaos, something really good to learn from. And as the Emperor energy that you embody as a divine masculine in the physical realms, you know how to use your sense of stability to really get through that chaos effectively and efficiently. Yeah? That is also another part of the Tower energy that you are dealing with right now. Like, I understand that this card is saying that this is where you are in relation to union, but ultimately all of these lessons that you're learning through the Tower energy are bringing you closer to union. Understand? Excellent. Okay, so in your final position in this spread, you have your sixth position, you have your hidden influences, or the energies that you're not so aware of right now. And that would be the Knight of Swords. Okay. All right. So what's happening here is the universe is kind of, or spirit also is kind of giving you a little bit of caution. Yeah. Because you have the King of Swords up here, but then you have the Knight of Swords below you. So some of you have a tendency right now to be a little too aggressive with your diplomacy. Or in most cases, some of you are lacking diplomacy and are needing to learn it. Here. So that's why, for some of you that are resonating with this part of the message, that's why you have the King of Swords as your current challenge, or your current challenge. You're being challenged to learn to be diplomatic when you deal with chaotic situations like this. So this leads back into that message that I was just pulling through about the Emperor energy. Some of you divine masculines are actively learning the lesson of how to deal with these chaotic energies in a more diplomatic, caring, and compassionate way. Diplomacy, caring, and compassion. You see all the Sharpie on my thumb? I colored, sorry, this is a total sidebar, but I colored, that's why I wanted to pull this card. Okay. Two things. One, I colored the sides of my cards black because it looks cool, right? Because it's got all these borders and stuff, and with the white edges, I'm off on a crazy tangent right now. But anyway, I did it with Sharpie, and it's still coming off on my fingers. Okay, moving on. The second part of that, I kept being called to draw one last card, and I don't normally do that because I wouldn't know where to put it because it's not really set here. There is no other place for it. But look at what that card is. The Lovers. And this is actually part of the overall message. I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to finish this point that I was on about, sorry guys, sometimes my mind just fires off on all these different things all at once, and I go on these crazy tangents. But anyway, back to the message about the Knight of Swords. So another facet to this Tower energy that has reappeared is coming to the understanding that if you want to effectively deal with chaotic situations like this, and you want it to have the best outcome it can possibly have, you need to learn to be diplomatic. So this Knight of Swords here is a caution, is a warning in some cases. Yeah? Excuse me. That's really the main message that I'm picking up from this Knight of Swords here. And so I am feeling that many of you are not resonating with that part of the message because you've already reached this understanding of diplomacy. But even in that case, if you're not necessarily resonating with that, it's still like, just keep an eye. Just keep an eye out, because these chaotic situations, sometimes they really have a way of pushing some buttons that you never expected you had, or it could even be pushed. You know what I mean? So in that situation, there's where the resonance lies. Be cautious. If you start to see that like you're starting to be pushed to a level that you really don't want to go to, understand that that's probably a moment where you need to like step away for a while and just like take a break and come back to it later. Right? Okay, so now back to the overall message here. And this next card that came out, the Lovers. This means two things. One, it's absolutely speaking to the union between you and your twin, divine masculine. It's saying to me that a lot is really happening that is in favor of union between the two of you. And honestly, I know, I keep hearing this from other readers, and I'm hearing it from the universe right now. I've been hearing it from the universe for a while now, because I keep getting caught in these moments where it's like, this is never going to happen. But the universe is saying, guys, this is going to happen, whether you see it or not, because this is what you desire. So understand, just trust, because it's going to happen. All right. So whether you are in contact with your twin or not, whether you may be across the country from each other, you may have blocked each other in ways, or you're just like avoiding each other. Just understand that all of what's going on right now, and we'll get into it for the Divine Feminine, but for all of that's going on right now for both counterparts is actively facilitating union for you. Now, the second message in this Lovers card is talking about you specifically, Divine Masculine. And this is absolutely why I was drawn so heavily to pull this card, because you're being offered this cup of fulfillment, and this fulfillment is personal fulfillment through the balancing of your feminine and masculine energies within you, Divine Masculine, and the harmonizing of that, the acceptance of yourself as you truly are, right? So please understand, for all of you Divine Masculines that are really, really scared or nervous or hesitating in accepting this cup of self-fulfillment and self-realization, just know that everything, the universe, I mean, spirit and the universe are really driving home the message right now that everything's going to be okay. You are becoming your true spiritual self. You are aligning yourself with who you are. And the Lovers also speaks to choices sometimes. And in the Lovers here is saying that you are actively making the choice to be yourself. You are choosing, in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Lovers is depicted as a man standing next to a burning bush and a woman standing next to, I think, is the Tree of Life, and with an angel between them. And it's one of the definitions of that card is the choice between vice or virtue. The burning bush being vice, the Tree of Life being virtue. So in this situation, Divine Masculine, many of you, well, when you decide to accept this cup of self-fulfillment through self-realization and standing up for yourself and who you truly are, you are actively choosing virtue over vice, finally. Which I think is a beautiful thing. Because many of you have been caught in that devil energy of vice. And you're really breaking free of that right now. Wow. I mean, this is such a complete story for me that I don't even know where I want to go next. Do I want to pull some oracle cards? I think I want to pull some Lightworker cards. Maybe some I don't really know. I mean, this message right here is so real, so complete. And we're already at 26 minutes. Let me just pull, I'm just going to pull something from the Lightworker deck for this week. Some advice. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay. Before I do that, I'm going to do the Crystal Mandala deck first. Just one card for some advice, guidance for the week in dealing with this chaotic energy and learning diplomacy. For you, Divine Masculine, learning the art of diplomacy, learning the art of prioritizing, putting yourself first. Spirit, what messages from the Crystal Mandala deck do you have for us, for the Divine Masculine, about this topic, about prioritizing him or himself first in order to be of service to others, learning to deal with chaos effectively and efficiently, learning to be diplomatic, goddesses, archangels, and ascended masters. What messages do you have for the Divine Masculine about these things? So I'm just going to ask. I'm going to ask for one card. Just one card, please. Just one card, please. Okay, just one card, please, Spirit. For the Divine Masculine for this week, in regards to diplomacy, in regards to effectively dealing with chaos. Here we go. Number 10, Angel Ista and Carnelian, nourishment. Nourishment. I mean, honestly, right off the bat, first of all, this is a beautiful card. And if you look at the color here in the mandala, it's bright red, which is speaking to the root chakra, which talks about grounding, right? So in accepting this cup of fulfillment in self-acceptance and self-assertion, you are effectively grounding more of yourself, more of your spiritual self into your physical reality. You are effectively creating greater balance and harmony between your masculine and feminine energies within you, the masculine individual. Yes? You are effectively nourishing yourself. You are learning to nourish yourself. Wow. Some really strong messages are coming through right now. This chaotic energy that you're dealing with the Five of Wands is teaching you how to nourish yourself. Is teaching you how to effectively care for yourself and prioritize yourself. You are also being asked to nourish yourself greater. You're being asked to put these things that you're learning into practice. Not just realize it, see it. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I see that. That's great. And then just walk away and not do anything with it. No, you are being asked to put them into practice as you become aware of them. The more you do that, the more you nourish yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you accept yourself, the more you will be able to show up for those that you care about. Your family, your friends, your career, your passions, your hobbies, anything. Your twin. And a lot of you divine masculines, I know, are dealing with a sense of shame and guilt for a lot of, not just the ways that you may have treated your twin throughout this journey, but you're starting to realize how inauthentic you have been and how you haven't really been living in your integrity, let alone any real moralistic integrity in a lot of cases, right? Does that make sense? I don't even know if that's a phrase, but that's just what came out. So now that you're dealing with this and things are becoming chaotic because you're trying to break away from it, and there are certain energies that don't want to let you go, that is facilitating greater nourishment for you. And you're also being asked to care for yourself with this card, right? Not just put these things into practice, but if you, like what we talked about before, about you're starting to see that all this chaotic energy is starting to push some buttons in you and you're starting to lose control a little bit, this is absolutely asking you to step away and ground and care for yourself. Deal with what's coming up. Deal with what the buttons that are being pushed now, especially if those buttons are new for you, divine masculine, like you didn't even realize that could be pushed, that was a button for you. You're being asked in those moments to step away. Number one, to avoid this Knight of Swords energy, because that Knight of Swords, if that energy is not balanced, man, that can come in and destroy everything. Yeah, like that can be an extremely destructive force. So you're in those moments, you're being asked to step away, ground yourself, and nourish yourself, and deal with those things that are now being brought to light for you, and then you can step back into the chaos to try and iron things out further. Yeah, I don't even want to go to the book on that because just that right there was enough, I feel. Also, I'm being drawn to the number on this card, which is card number 10, which boils down to a 1. But usually when I see that card, when I see that number, I think of the individual being 1, but then source being 0 behind it. So to me, that is saying, even through all this chaos, divine masculine, source, God, universe, whatever you call it, is with you, guiding you, protecting you, and loving you throughout everything, no matter what happens. And it will always be that way, not just in this situation. It will always be that way. Okay, finally, I want to pull one card from the Lightworker Oracle deck. And I'm asking Spirit one message for the Divine Masculine for this week from the Lightworker Oracle deck. What can the Divine Masculine work on to bring more light to his or herself, and to also bring more light to the surrounding situation, to the people surrounding, to the people that are vying for, in the situations where there are people vying for the Divine Masculine's attention and time? What can the Divine Masculine do to help bring more light to those individuals as the Divine Masculine brings more light to him or herself? Yes? So, Spirit, one message from the Lightworker Oracle deck for the Divine Masculine for this week. I'm going to do one more shuffle. Thank you so much, Spirit. This has been a really great reading. All right, so one message for the Divine Masculine, please. Okay, well, Divine Masculine, you look like you got 2 cards. Oh, look at you. So special. Okay. Oh, man. Excuse me. I think I might have to go to the book for this because what we have here is 7, first. Unplug from mass consciousness. And what are you doing in dealing with this chaotic energy right now, Divine Masculine? You are actively pulling away from mass consciousness. And you are stepping into your own individuality. You're stepping into your own truer sense of self. Not just on a physical level, but on a spiritual level. So that's really where this unplugging from mass consciousness comes into play, because you're no longer accepting the labels that you accepted before. You're no longer accepting what the mass consciousness has deemed to be true or right or wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you were starting to you're starting to build that sense for your own self. Now, unplugging from mass consciousness doesn't mean that you're going to separate from everyone or anything completely, and it definitely does not make you better than anyone else. Please understand that. But in this sense, unplugging from mass consciousness is giving you a bit of peace of mind to set off on your own. And so then from a light working point of view, what you can do to instill more light into the people and situations around you is literally step out on your own and stand on your own. Stand true in your intentions, in your beliefs, in your newfound sense of self. Don't let anybody tell you you're wrong. Don't let anybody tell you you're something that you're not. And when you stand in that sense of personal integrity, you shine your light. You spread that light to others. Now, it may not sink in with others. It may deter others from you. And if that is the case, let them go. But in other situations, it's going to inspire other people to do the same. Aha, you see? I like it. Okay, and second, we've got initiation by air. And this I think I want to go to the book for, but I'm already getting a bit of a sense of like initiation by air. You're gaining a new sense of mental integrity. I mean, I literally see you, Divine Masculine, standing on your own like this angel here, and standing true in your who you know and who you believe that you are, and what you believe you can achieve and accomplish. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting from that. But I do want to read from the book to see if there's anything I'm missing. Okay, you have a strong and powerful mind. The mind can be a great asset. It can bring comfort, peace, and strength as you take your spiritual journey. It can also be a dark and destructive force, undermining your power, making you doubt your own heart, and keeping you trapped in fear. Yes, this is so perfect. The mind developed without a loving spiritual practice can be a frightening weapon rather than a liberating sword. How will you choose to use your mind power? And this is absolutely speaking to that message that came through earlier with the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords. Learning diplomacy. Compassionate diplomacy. You know, I mean, obviously there really isn't much emotion here, but because it is the sword suit, it's a mental situation, but I mean, but that doesn't mean that you can't have compassion for someone. You know, it doesn't mean you can't look at them and be like, yeah, okay, I've been there before, or I understand, or I can relate in some way, you know? So, but you still have to make a diplomatic decision. But this message of using the power of your mind to help instead of hurt is absolutely what this is talking about. Beautiful. Okay, Divine Masculine. This is a daunting week. I get it. There's a lot of heavy shit around you. There's a lot of chaos around you. But understand that you have really made some leaps and bounds in getting to this situation, in getting to this point right now. And I know a lot of you feel like, because I can feel it right now, a lot of you are starting to be like, well, this is crazy. I mean, I've been dealing, I worked so hard with my initial tower energy, which led me to that fucking devil, and now and that was hard enough, but now that I'm pulling away from it, I've got all this chaos around me. I mean, like, will it ever end? And I'm here to tell you, Divine Masculine, it's only getting harder, or it feels like it's only getting harder, because you are really making some good progress, and you really, really, really should be proud of yourself. Like, give yourself a good old pat on the back, because you're really getting through it. And it's one of those situations where it's like it has to get worse before it can get better. And I'm not saying that, you know, this is completely going to go away. I mean, it'll ease up, and then, you know, you'll find other situations where you're really going to have to work hard. But understand that you have the strength. You have the strength to do this. You have the strength within yourself, and your Divine Feminine is lending you strength as well. Yeah? So don't hesitate to ask your twin for help, and to accept the help that your twin is readily giving you. Yeah? We love you. We are so proud of you. Source is so proud of you. You're doing a great job, Divine Masculine. You really are. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I could just talk about this all day. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. If you if you want to discuss any of this further, if something specific resonated with you and you want to ask me a specific question about it, you can hit me up on Instant Go. You can hit me up for a personal reading if you like. My email address and the link to my Instant Go profile is in the description box below. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Comments are readily welcome. I would love to discuss this with you guys. And yeah, I love you all. Also, if you'd like to donate to my channel, I would really appreciate that. The karmic energy exchange is fantastic. You know, it will come right back around to you. I would really appreciate it. It would be really helpful for me. That information is also in the description box down below. All right, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.